The massive ship appeared suddenly in Earth's orbit on a Tuesday morning. It hung above the planet like a metal mountain, casting shadows over cities as it passed. News channels across the world showed the same images. Social media exploded with videos of the ship. In just 1 hour, every human on Earth knew they were not alone in the universe. President Richard Carter sat in the White House Situation Room, surrounded by anxious faces. Military generals pointed at screens showing the alien vessel. Scientists argued about its technology. No one had answers, only questions. "Mr. President, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," said General Linda Summers, her voice steady despite the tension. The large screen at the front of the room flickered, then showed a strange figure. It had gray-blue skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and spoke with a voice that seemed to come from multiple throats at once. "People of Earth, I am High Executor Zixboon of the Galactic Imperial Authority. Your primitive world has been monitored for decades. The Empire spans 10,000 systems. You will now join us as a protectorate world. Resistance would be unfortunate." The creature paused, then continued. "We will arrive at your United Nations building in 6 hours. Have your world leaders present. Prepare for integration." The screen went dark. "Options?" the president asked, looking around the room. "We can't fight that thing," General Summers said. "Our missiles would be like throwing rocks at a battleship." A man in a Navy uniform stood up. "Commander Alex Kelly, Special Operations. Sir, permission to speak freely." The president nodded. "We need to know more before we decide anything. I volunteer to be part of the meeting team. I have combat and diplomatic experience." From the other side of the table, a woman with dark hair pulled into a tight bun spoke up. "Dr. Olivia Martinez, DARE-PA Advanced Research. I should go too. We need someone who can understand their technology if they show us any." President Carter looked at them both, then nodded slowly. "Approved. You'll join me and a small team at the UN. The rest of you, prepare contingency plans. I want defensive options ready, even if they seem hopeless." 6 hours later, they stood on the steps of the United Nations as a smaller ship descended from the massive vessel above. It landed in the plaza, sending papers and debris flying in all directions. The ship's door opened with a hiss of steam. 3 aliens emerged, walking on 2 legs but with bodies that seemed wrong somehow, proportions that made human eyes uncomfortable. High Executor Zixboon stood at the center, towering over the humans. "President Carter," the alien said without introduction, "your species will now submit to Imperial authority." "We prefer to discuss terms," Carter replied calmly. "Perhaps a mutual agreement." "There are no terms," Zixboon interrupted. "You will submit, or we will make an example of one of your major cities. The Empire has stood for 50,000 years. Thousands of worlds have joined us, willingly or otherwise." Commander Kelly watched the aliens carefully. He noticed small devices at their belts, the way their eyes scanned constantly, how they positioned themselves defensively despite their confident words. Dr. Martinez was focused on the ship behind them. Her trained eyes spotted energy signatures, material compositions, and control systems that hinted at the technology that powered it. "You have 1 planetary rotation to announce your submission to your people," Zixboon continued. "We will establish bases on your moon and 4th planet immediately. Your mineral resources will be cataloged. Compliant planets are treated well. Resistant ones are not." The aliens turned and walked back to their ship, not waiting for a response. As they flew away, Commander Kelly moved closer to Dr. Martinez. "Did you see what I saw?" he whispered. She nodded slightly. "Advanced, but not magical. Their ship uses principles I recognize, just more developed." "And they're afraid," Kelly added. "All that confidence is just for show. They're worried about something." "Then we need to find out what," Martinez said, "because I think Earth just ran out of time." 6 months had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Empire. Commander Alex Kelly stood on the observation deck of the Imperial flagship, Eternal Dominion, watching as huge ships stripped resources from the asteroid belt. His fists clenched at his sides. This was not the beneficial partnership the Empire had promised. Earth had submitted after the Empire destroyed a small uninhabited island as a demonstration of power. Now, Imperial bases covered the Moon and Mars. Alien officials walked through human cities like they owned them. In truth, they did. Commander Kelly wore the new uniform of an Earth liaison officer, a fancy title for what amounted to a servant role. He was here to observe and learn, but the Empire made sure he saw only what they wanted him to see. Admiring our efficiency, Commander. Kelly turned to see Sub-Executor Nailven, a lower-ranking Imperial officer who seemed to enjoy tormenting the humans under his command. Just observing, Kelly replied carefully. Those are Earth's resources you're taking. Nailven made us sound like rocks in a garbage disposal. An Imperial laugh. The development tax. Your primitive world benefits from Imperial protection and technology. That comes at a cost. But the technology shared with humans was minimal and outdated. Earth received medical advancements that extended life by 10 years and basic space travel improvements. Meanwhile, the Empire took metals, water, and even parts of Earth's atmosphere. You're needed in the command center, Nailven said. The High Executor has questions about human biology again. In the gleaming command center, High Executor Zixboon studied genetic charts on a floating display. Kelly recognized human DNA sequences. Commander, explain why human genetic patterns show these anomalies, Zixboon demanded without greeting. Kelly looked at the display. I'm a military officer, not a scientist. I don't understand what you're asking. These markers, Zixboon pointed with a long finger. They appear in only one other species we've encountered. The precursors. Kelly kept his face neutral despite his surprise. This was the third time the aliens had mentioned precursors around him. Each time, they seemed worried. Perhaps Dr. Martinez could help you, Kelly suggested. She's the scientist. Back on Earth, Dr. Olivia Martinez worked in a lab that had once been a prestigious university. Now it served Imperial research. She studied the limited alien technology they were allowed to see, secretly documenting everything. Another work directive, her assistant Frank said, handing her a tablet. They want us to analyze this material. The sample was a strange metallic compound that responded to electrical impulses. As Martinez worked, an Imperial supervisor watched her every move. When her shift ended, Martinez walked through streets now filled with alien architecture. Imperial propaganda played on massive screens. Humans moved quickly, heads down, trying not to attract attention. She entered a small apartment and checked carefully for surveillance devices. Finding none active, she pressed a hidden button under her kitchen counter. A secret compartment opened in the wall. Inside was a secure communication device. She typed quickly, THEYR, looking for GNETHT connections to something KLEDPRETURSORS. KLOI reports in series did interiorist, sending any duty teaching analysis. Across the country in Wyoming, deep underground, her message reached the hidden heart of human resistance. In a facility carved into the mountains, scientists and military personnel worked around the clock. This was Project Endgame, Earth's secret hope. General Linda Summers read Martinez's report with growing excitement. This confirms what we suspected. The Empire fears something about humans, something in our genetics. Beside her, a young man with glasses nodded. I've been analyzing their communication patterns, said Jack Harrison, formerly a programmer from Ohio, now the lead of their cyber intelligence team. Every time human genetics comes up, their security protocols increase. Keep digging, General Summers ordered, and tell Kelly to learn everything he can about these precursors. Above them, on the surface, Imperial ships flew across the sky. But below, humans prepared in secret. The Empire thought Earth was defeated. They would soon learn how wrong they were. The Wyoming facility hummed with activity. 1 mile beneath the surface, protected by layers of rock and advanced jammers. Project Endgame continued its work. This was humanity's best-kept secret. Dr. Olivia Martinez arrived after a carefully planned journey. She had told the Imperial officials she was visiting family in Chicago. Instead, she had switched identities 3 times before reaching Wyoming. "Welcome back," General Summers said, meeting her at the security checkpoint. "We've made progress while you were gone." They walked through tunnels filled with scientists and soldiers. In the main lab, a captured Imperial shuttle sat surrounded by equipment. Workers had taken it apart piece by piece. "We understand their propulsion system now," Summers explained, "and we've reverse-engineered their energy weapons." Martinez nodded. "What about their communication network?" "That's where Harrison has been amazing." Jack Harrison didn't look impressive at first glance. With his messy brown hair and constant fidgeting, he seemed more like a college student than a tech genius. But his mind worked differently than anyone Martinez had ever met. "Dr. Martinez." Harrison jumped up from his workstation. Perfect timing. "We just broke through another security layer." His fingers flew across a strange keyboard that combined human and alien technology. On the screen above, alien text scrolled rapidly. "I created an AI system that can infiltrate their network," Harrison explained. "It mimics Imperial access patterns so they don't detect the intrusion. We've been mapping their entire command structure." Martinez looked impressed. "How did you get past their quantum encryption?" Harrison grinned. "That's the interesting part. Their systems have a weird reaction to human brainwave patterns. It's like their tech recognizes something in our neural activity." He pointed to a helmet with wires coming out of it. "We use this to feed human brain patterns into the system. It creates gaps in their security we can slip through." In another section of the facility, engineers tested weapons that combined human ingenuity with alien technology. Soldiers trained with new equipment designed to fight the Empire's forces. "We've learned they've done this before," General Summers said as they toured the weapon testing area. "There are records of over 300 species conquered by the Empire. Same pattern every time. Arrive with overwhelming force, demand submission, extract resources, restrict technology access. Have any species ever successfully fought back?" Martinez asked. "None in recent history. But the records mention something called the Precursor Incident that damaged the Empire thousands of years ago." Harrison joined them, carrying a tablet. "That's not all. According to their own historical records, the Empire used to be much larger. They controlled nearly twice as many systems before the Precursors." Martinez remembered Commander Kelly's reports about the Empire's interest in human genetics. What exactly were these precursors? "That's the problem," Harrison said. "Most records about them were deleted, but we found fragments suggesting they looked similar to humans and had special abilities connected to technology. The Empire seems terrified of them returning." They reached a secure vault at the heart of the facility. General Summers placed her hand on a scanner, and heavy doors slid open. Inside, scientists worked around a glowing blue device. "This is our prototype," Summers said. "A quantum entanglement communicator. It can't be detected or blocked by Imperial technology. We've been building a network across Earth and the solar system." Martinez studied the device. "This is beyond Imperial tech level." "Because we're not copying them," Harrison explained. "We're taking a different approach. Humans think differently than the Empire. We solve problems in ways they don't expect." General Summers' face grew serious. "We're almost ready. The pieces are coming together. But we need more information about their fleet positions and defense systems." "Kelly can get that," Martinez said. "He's been gaining their trust." As they spoke, lights flashed on Harrison's tablet. Incoming transmission from Commander Kelly. High priority. They gathered around the screen, ready to receive new information from their spy aboard the Imperial flagship. Commander Kelly's face appeared on the screen, his image breaking up from encryption. He spoke quickly, looking over his shoulder every few seconds. "I don't have much time," he said. "I'm on the Imperial flagship. They're planning something big. The High Executor just got orders from the Imperial capital. They're going to speed up their plans for Earth. What plans? General Summers asked. Population reduction. Resource extraction. They're worried about something they found in our genetics. I overheard Zixvoon talking about dormant human potential that could trigger another precursor catastrophe. Martinez and Harrison exchanged looks. This confirmed their suspicions. I've managed to copy their navigational data, Kelly continued. It shows the location of every Imperial ship in our solar system. I'll transmit it during my next scheduled return to Earth in 3 days. The transmission ended abruptly. Harrison immediately began typing, saving the data they had received. We need to accelerate our timeline, General Summers said. If they're planning to increase their control of Earth, we need to be ready. Dr. Martinez returned to her lab, working tirelessly to understand the connection between human brainwaves and Imperial technology. For days, she ran tests on volunteers, measuring their neural patterns while they interacted with alien devices. On the 3rd day, she made a breakthrough. Look at this, she told Harrison, showing him brain scans from 20 different test subjects. When humans focus on certain thoughts, our brainwaves create patterns that interface with Imperial technology in ways the aliens never anticipated. Harrison studied the data. It's like their tech was designed to block certain neural patterns, possibly precursor patterns, but human brains find pathways around those blocks. Exactly, Martine said, excitement in her voice. And the more we use their technology, the stronger the connection becomes. It's almost like our brains are evolving to work with it. She demonstrated by putting on a neural interface helmet connected to a piece of Imperial technology. When she concentrated, the alien device activated in ways it wasn't designed to. They've been restricting our access to their neural network systems because they're afraid of what we might do with them, she explained. Meanwhile, Commander Kelly returned to Earth for his scheduled diplomatic meeting. Under the watchful eyes of Imperial guards, he met with Earth's government representatives. During a bathroom break, he secretly passed a small data device to a resistance member disguised as a janitor. Hours later, that data reached the Wyoming facility. Harrison plugged it into their system, and detailed maps of the Imperial fleet appeared on the main screen. This is incredible, General Summers said, studying the displays. We now know the location of every Imperial ship in our solar system, plus their patrol routes and communication protocols. Harrison nodded, already integrating the new information with their existing intelligence. And there's more. Kelly included detailed scans of their flagship's central computer core. We now understand how their entire network functions. In her lab, Martinez made another discovery. She connected the neural interface to their quantum entanglement communicator and found that human brainwaves could amplify the signal exponentially. This changes everything, she told General Summers and Harrison. With enough humans connected to our network, we could create a system-wide quantum entanglement field. It would let us send commands to any Imperial technology within range. Harrison's eyes widened as he understood the implications. We could shut down their entire fleet simultaneously, or take control of it, Summers added. Martinez nodded. But we'd need thousands of volunteers connected to the system, and we'd have to build interface stations around the world. How long would it take? Summers asked. 2 weeks, maybe less if we work around the clock. As they spoke, an alarm sounded. Harrison rushed to his console. Imperial ships are changing positions, he reported, pointing to the display. They're moving reinforcements into orbit around Earth. Something's happening. General Summers straightened her uniform. Then we don't have 2 weeks. We have days, maybe less. It's time to activate all our sleeper cells around the world. Operation Minuteman begins now. Operation Minuteman activated resistance cells across the globe. In basements, attics, and hidden rooms, people who had been preparing for months received their orders. Regular citizens by day, freedom fighters by night. They moved into action with quiet determination. In the Wyoming facility, General Summers addressed her team. Maps of Earth glowed on screens behind her, showing thousands of small blue dots representing their network. "We have 3 days before the Empire begins their acceleration plan," she said. "Intelligence suggests they will start by taking control of our major cities and rounding up potential resistance members." Martinez stepped forward. "The neural interface stations must be built and connected within 48 hours. Each station needs at least 50 human volunteers to generate enough brainwave energy." Harrison pointed to his screen. "The quantum entanglement network will connect all stations to our central hub here. When activated, it will create a feedback loop through all Imperial technology in the solar system." A soldier raised his hand. "How long will the effect last?" "According to our calculations, 17 minutes, Martins replied. "That's how long it will take the Empire to identify the source and counterattack. 17 minutes to change everything." Across the ocean, Commander Kelly attended a meeting on the Imperial flagship. High Executor Zixmoon addressed a room full of officers. "The human containment operation begins in 3 days," the alien leader announced. "Earth has proven more problematic than anticipated. Their genetic similarities to the precursors cannot be ignored." A holographic map appeared, showing major Earth cities highlighted in red. "We will establish control zones in these population centers. Selected humans will be processed for further study. Others will be relocated to work camps." Kelly kept his face neutral despite the rage inside him. He needed to warn Earth, but all communications were being monitored. He would have to find another way. After the meeting, Sub-Executor Nalvan approached him. "You seem troubled, Commander." "Just processing the new information," Kelly replied carefully. "Your species should be honored," Nalvan said. "Few receive such special attention from the Empire. Those with precursor markers will serve a greater purpose." "And what purpose is that?" Kelly asked. Nalvan's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The Empire has spent millennia ensuring the precursors never return. Their power nearly destroyed us once. We will not allow it to happen again." As Nalvan walked away, Kelly made his decision. That night, he snuck into a communication room and sent an encrypted message to Earth. "Operation accelerated. Attack begins in 3 days. Must act now." In cities around the world, interface stations were hastily constructed in hidden locations. Volunteers arrived quietly, prepared to connect their minds to the system. Each station consisted of neural helmets connected to a quantum entanglement node that Martinez had designed. At the White House, President Carter met with Imperial representatives, pretending to cooperate while secretly coordinating with resistance leaders. When the meeting ended, he slipped away to a secure room beneath the White House. "All stations report ready," an aide told him. 87% of the network is online." "And our defenses?" the president asked. "The modified Imperial weapons have been distributed to key locations. Once their ships lose power, our forces will move immediately." Back in Wyoming, Harrison worked frantically to complete the AI system that would infiltrate and control the Imperial network. Martinez supervised the final adjustments to the main quantum entanglement hub. "Are you sure this will work?" General Summers asked. Martinez looked at the complex equipment surrounding them. "The science is sound, but nothing like this has ever been attempted. We're counting on the Empire, not expecting humans to be capable of this level of technology." "How many Imperial ships will be affected?" Summers asked. Harrison checked his data. "All 217 ships in our solar system, plus their bases on the Moon and Mars." General Summers nodded grimly. "And Commander Kelly?" "He'll be on the flagship," Martinez said quietly. "He knows the risks." As they spoke, alarms blared through the facility. A soldier rushed in. "Imperial ships are on the move. They're beginning to position for the operation early." Harrison checked his monitors. "They've changed their timetable. They're starting now." General Summers took a deep breath and pressed a button on the command console. Her voice transmitted to every resistance cell worldwide. "Operation Minuteman activates in 6 hours. This is not a drill. May God help us all. Imperial ships descended toward Earth's major cities. Massive shadows fell over New York, London, Beijing, and dozens of other population centers. People looked up in fear as the vessels positioned themselves. On the streets, Imperial soldiers began to appear in greater numbers. In the Wyoming facility, final preparations reached a fever pitch. Engineers rushed to complete the last connections in the quantum network, while soldiers moved into defensive positions around the base. Status report, General Summers demanded. Network at 94%. Harrison replied, his fingers flying across his keyboard. Still establishing connections with stations in Eastern Asia and Australia. Dr. Martinez supervised volunteers connecting to neural interfaces. Rows of men and women sat in chairs, wearing helmets linked to the quantum system. Each helmet recorded and amplified their brainwave patterns. How many volunteers do we have connected? Summers asked. Just over 8,000 worldwide. Martins answered. We need at least 10,000 for full coverage. On the Imperial flagship, Commander Kelly moved carefully through the corridors. He had rigged small devices to the ship's communication array. Not enough to disable it completely, but enough to create confusion at the critical moment. As he finished placing the last device, a voice called out behind him. Commander Kelly, an unexpected location for an Earth liaison. Kelly turned to see Sub-Executor Nalven watching him with all four eyes narrowed in suspicion. I was told to inspect the communication systems, Kelly lied. Standard procedure. There is no such procedure, Nalven said, moving closer. And those devices are not Imperial issue. Kelly knew his cover was blown. He reached for his hidden weapon, but Nalven moved with surprising speed, grabbing Kelly's arm. The High Executor suspected we had a spy, Nalven hissed. Humans are too rebellious for their own good. Alarms began to sound throughout the ship. Kelly knew he had only moments before the entire security force would be looking for him. In Wyoming, the alarms triggered an immediate response. They've discovered Kelly, Harrison said, reading the Imperial communications he had intercepted. They're initiating security protocols on all ships. General Summers looked grim. How much longer until we're ready? The network needs another 30 minutes to fully stabilize, Martins said. We don't have 30 minutes, Summers replied. The Empire is moving now. They'll begin rounding up civilians within the hour. Harrison checked his monitors. We have 91% network coverage. It's not ideal, but it might be enough. And the AI system? Summers asked. Ready to deploy, Harrison confirmed. Once activated, it will infiltrate their network and lock them out of their own systems. Summers made her decision. We launch now. Alert all stations to activate on my mark. Around the world, resistance members received the emergency signal. In basements, abandoned buildings, and hidden bunkers, station leaders prepared their volunteers. On the Imperial flagship, Kelly fought against Nalven. Despite the alien's strength, Kelly's combat training gave him an advantage. He managed to break free and run toward the bridge. Security alert. Nalven shouted into his communicator. Human spy heading for Central Command. In cities across Earth, Imperial soldiers began the first phase of their operation. They surrounded government buildings and communication centers. Massive transport ships descended, ready to begin collecting humans for processing. President Carter, hidden in the White House bunker, received the reports. We're out of time, he told his advisors. Give the order. In Wyoming, General Summers stood before the main control panel. Martins and Harrison beside her. The moment had arrived. All stations, Summers announced, her voice transmitted to every resistance cell. Commence Operation Minuteman. Activation sequence begins now. Martinez pressed her palm against a scanner. Neural interfaces online. Harrison typed a final command. A deployment ready. Around the world, volunteers in neural helmets closed their eyes and focused their thoughts. The quantum entanglement network hummed to life, connecting thousands of human minds into one powerful system. In orbit, Commander Kelly reached the flagship's bridge just as High Executor Zixmoon was giving the order to begin full planetary subjugation. "The human resistance ends today," the alien leader declared. Kelly smiled grimly. "You're right about that," he said, drawing attention to himself, "but not in the way you think." As Imperial guards moved to capture him, Kelly spoke into a hidden communicator. "This is Commander Kelly. They're fully committed. Execute now." In Wyoming, General Summers nodded and gave the final command. "Activate." A wave of energy pulsed through the quantum entanglement network. Across the solar system, Imperial ships suddenly flickered as their systems encountered something they had never faced before. The combined mental energy of thousands of human minds, all focused through technology the Empire never expected humans to develop. On the Imperial flagship, High Executor Zixmoon was in mid-sentence when the lights dimmed. The floating displays around him stuttered and went dark. A terrible cracking sound came from the ship's central computer core. "What is happening?" the alien leader demanded, his usual calm replaced by panic. Commander Kelly watched as confusion spread among the Imperial officers. "That would be humanity's response," he said with grim satisfaction. In orbit around Earth, in the asteroid belt, and at bases on the Moon and Mars, Imperial ships lost power. Their crystalline processors, the heart of Imperial technology, shattered as human brainwave patterns created a feedback loop they couldn't handle. In the Wyoming facility, Harrison monitored the results with growing excitement. "It's working. Imperial ships are going dark across the system." On his main screen, 217 red dots representing Imperial vessels blinked and turned blue, indicating they had been neutralized. Harrison's AI program raced through the Imperial network, locking the aliens out of their own systems. 16 minutes remaining, Martinez called out, watching the countdown. General Summers activated the second phase of Operation Minuteman. "All Earth defense platforms, you are cleared to engage. Neutralize all Imperial vessels." Across the globe, hidden weapons platforms that had been built using modified Imperial technology activated. Energy beams shot upward from mountain ranges, deserts, and oceans. The disabled Imperial ships, unable to raise shields or maneuver, were easy targets. 14 minutes, Martinez announced. On the flagship, Commander Kelly moved quickly. While the Imperial officers panicked, he made his way to an emergency console that still had limited functionality. He activated the ship's internal communication system. "Attention all Earth personnel aboard this vessel," he broadcast. "This is Commander Kelly. The time is now. Execute protocol takeover." Throughout the massive ship, human workers who had been placed aboard as servants and low-level crew members pulled hidden weapons from secret compartments. They had been waiting for this moment for months. 13 minutes, Martinez counted in Wyoming. Harrison's fingers flew across his keyboard. "I've gained access to their central database. Downloading everything. Their star charts, weapon schematics, historical records, everything." Outside major cities, the people watched in awe as the once mighty Imperial ships tumbled helplessly in the sky. Some crashed into uninhabited areas. Others were captured intact by human forces using electromagnetic tractor beams, another technology reverse-engineered from Imperial designs. 11 minutes, Martinez said. On Mars, the Imperial garrison found themselves suddenly defenseless as their weapons and environmental systems failed. Human scientists and workers who had been forced to labor there quickly overwhelmed their confused guards. 10 minutes, came the count. General Summers studied the tactical display. "Almost all Imperial forces in Earth orbit have been neutralized. Begin boarding operations on the intact vessels." Special forces teams, trained secretly for months, launched toward the disabled ships. Using cutting tools and breaching charges, they forced their way inside. The Imperial soldiers, confused and without functioning weapons, offered little resistance. 8 minutes, Martinez announced. On the flagship, Commander Kelly led a group of human crew members toward the bridge. They encountered Nalven in a corridor, trying desperately to activate his personal weapon. "How?" the alien demanded. "How did primitives like you do this?" "You made a mistake," Kelly replied, training his weapon on the sub-executor. "You judged us by your standards. Humans don't think like the Empire. We innovate. We adapt." 6 minutes, came Martinez's voice over communications. Harrison looked up from his station. "I've locked down their faster-than-light communication array. They can't call for help." In the Wyoming facility, the volunteers connected to the neural interfaces began to show signs of strain. Their combined mental effort was taking a physical toll. "Can they hold on?" General Summers asked Martinez. "They have to," she replied. 4 minutes left. Across the solar system, the mighty galactic empire that had stood for 50,000 years was being dismantled in minutes by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Their ships were captured or destroyed. Their bases were overrun. Their technology was turned against them. Commander Kelly reached the bridge of the flagship and found High Executor Zixboon surrounded by human crew members, his 4 eyes wide with disbelief. "Impossible," the alien leader whispered. "The Empire cannot fall to humans." Kelly checked his watch. 2 minutes left, he said. "And your empire in this solar system is already gone." The 17 minutes ended. Across Earth, the neural interface stations powered down. Exhausted volunteers removed their helmets, many collapsing from the mental strain. They had given everything they had, but they had succeeded. In the Wyoming facility, Martinez watched the countdown reach 0. "Time's up," she announced. Harrison checked his systems. "The quantum entanglement field is dissipating, but it doesn't matter now. I've completely locked the Empire out of their own network. They can't regain control." General Summers studied the tactical display showing the solar system. Every Imperial ship was either disabled, captured, or destroyed. "We did it," she said quietly. Operation Minuteman succeeded. It took hours for reports to come in from across the solar system. Human forces had captured 97 Imperial vessels intact. The bases on the Moon and Mars were under human control. Imperial soldiers were being rounded up and detained. On the flagship, now renamed Freedom, Commander Kelly and his team secured the ship's vital areas. High Executor Zixboon and the other Imperial leaders were confined to quarters under guard. 3 days after Operation Minuteman, the Imperial capital finally re-established contact with the Sol system. A transmission arrived from the Grand Imperial Council, the highest authority in the Empire. President Carter, General Summers, Commander Kelly, Dr. Martins, and Jack Harrison gathered in the Wyoming facility to receive the message. The angry face of the Imperial Chancellor appeared on screen. "This is Chancellor Dromvor of the Eternal Empire," the alien said, its skin rippling with rage. "Your system has committed an act of war. Our fleet will arrive in 30 days to restore order. Surrender immediately or face extinction." President Carter stepped forward. "This is Richard Carter, President of the United Earth Alliance. We will not surrender. We have captured your ships, your weapons, and most importantly, your data." Harrison activated a display showing thousands of Imperial star charts, communications, and classified files. "We know everything about your empire now," he said, "including how to disrupt your technology across every system you control." Martinez joined them. "We've learned how human brainwaves can interface with your technology in ways you never imagined. We can extend our quantum entanglement network to any system within Imperial space." The Imperial Chancellor's expression changed from anger to concern. Kelly delivered the final message. "You have 2 choices. Recognize Earth's independence and establish peaceful relations, or we will extend our revolution to every oppressed species in your empire. We've already begun transmitting the technology to disable your ships to other worlds you've conquered." The Chancellor's eyes widened. "You would destroy the order that has maintained peace for 50,000 years. Your version of peace," Carter replied, "built on the suffering of hundreds of species. It ends now." After several minutes of silence, the Chancellor spoke again, his tone now diplomatic. Perhaps negotiations could be arranged. 1 month later, representatives from Earth and the Empire signed the Sol Independence Treaty. The Empire recognized Earth's sovereignty and agreed to withdraw all forces from the solar system. In return, humans promised not to export their quantum disruption technology to other imperial worlds. But promises could be broken. In the Wyoming facility, now expanded into the headquarters of the new Human Space Force, Jack Harrison worked with Dr. Martinez on a new project. They called it the Liberation Network. Using the captured Imperial communication array, they secretly transmitted their technology to other worlds suffering under Imperial rule. Commander Kelly, now Admiral Kelly, supervised the conversion of captured Imperial ships into Earth's first deep space fleet. How long until we can reach the nearest subjugated world? He asked his navigation officer. 3 weeks at maximum speed, sir. Kelly nodded. The Empire thinks they've contained us by giving us our freedom. They don't understand humans at all. In her lab, Dr. Martins discovered something new in the Imperial genetic records. The precursors didn't die out, she told General Summers. They fragmented and evolved. Some of them became us. Does the Empire know this? Summers asked. They suspect, but they don't have proof, Martins replied. That's why they fear us so much. President Carter addressed the United Nations the next day. Humanity has won its independence, he said to thunderous applause. But our work is just beginning. Across the galaxy, billions of beings live under imperial oppression. They need what we have. Freedom. His voice grew stronger. We didn't just save Earth. We awakened something the Empire has feared for millennia. The human spirit cannot be contained, and neither can our vision for a free galaxy. In just 17 minutes, humans had erased the Empire from their solar system. What they would do with the rest of the galaxy would take longer, but the outcome was already certain. The Empire's days were numbered, and a new dawn was breaking across the stars.